Yeah, I started mine, so welcome.
I started mine just as well there. What's up, everybody? This is episode 72 of our music memory series, Arknolia and the
Actually,
Doctor. 70 what?
73 because you didn't name the Van Halen one.
Oh, yeah. Well, I made that as a special tribute there. Yeah, you're right there. I should probably go back and I called that a special edition there because I figured it was going to
Yeah, no,
be.
I caught that. I
Right.
was wondering why your numbers were different from mine.
All right there. So I'll take care of that right now. So, all right.
Well,
So,
yeah, you can do
and
it
of
after the
course,
show if you want.
um, there we go. Now we're booming.
Wasn't that important.
I know, but still, I try to make things correct as much as I can there.
Hey, nobody listens to my channel anyway.
I don't know, but still, they should, man. Yeah.
Pretty
So,
much this is all that's on
all
it.
right, now you do what I do at times. You'll put up little vlogs about what's going on, what's on your mind, telling stories here and there. Little
Yeah,
tidbits
I
here
guess
and
I
there.
should do that.
Yeah. That's how. That's even what I. That's what I even suggested to Prince. When he had said he was hoping to start a channel of his own soon there. So I have to wait and see there. Now, as you know, I mentioned a couple of times in the last vlog that I filmed and uploaded there. This is a look at all the prog rock acts from A to Z, alphabetical order here. Now, of course, we're joined by, of
More or
course,
less.
yeah, we're joined by Keith Barber and the
Hello.
Great YR.
Hello.
Hello, and of course, we're gonna have let's see
Now,
what
I'm
we
going to
got.
be honest, a lot of these bands you guys have never heard of,
Yeah,
and some of them I had never heard of until I looked them up.
wow, interesting. Okay, so are we ready to roll, guys? I'm ready. I'm down to find out.
Okay, from my little list, first one I show is a group by the name of Aeon Zen, Aeonzen,
A O N A
Aeonzen.
A E Zen O N. Let me look
Yeah,
that.
and I'm not real familiar with them.
A E Z O N.
No, A-E-O,
A
let me
E.
start over.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
A-E-O-N,
O N.
Zen, Z-E-N, two words.
I see. I see it now. It's a band there. Eon. I thought it was. It's kind of like the same Eon as in Eon Flux, the MTV animated cartoon they had on Sunday nights there.
Right,
And it's a progressive metal band from England, formed in 2008.
relatively recent one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, founding member is Rich Gray, formerly of a band called Hicks. They have been praised and such and such here. And, let me look out on the Wikipedia here, and they have their own Facebook page here, and of course, and they have been praised and heavily featured in the international rock press, labeled as by Classic Rock magazine as a strong contender for best newcomer at the very least, and additionally as Progression magazine selection for debut album of the year.
Wow.
And the band has released 5 studio albums, with the sixth one due this year. They have assembled a lineup for live performances. Their first and second records, entitled A Mind's Portrait and The Face of the Unknown, respectively, were released through a label called Time Divide Records in 2009 and 2010. They were followed by a third album called Ignima, released through a label called Nightmare Records in January 2013, I meant. And the following year, they have one called, let's see here, um, Epihemera and Inventurias, that will be released in 2019 there. That's when it came out. All right.
Next one I got is Agitation Free.
Hmm.
It's a German band from the 70s, similar to early Pink Floyd.
Oh, wow. So it's a German version of Pink Floyd, needless to say there.
Sounds like it.
Something like that. Nah, nice.
Okay, next one I got is a group called Air.
I've heard of
It
that
is
band.
a It's a French duo whose retro synth-based electronica and space pop music features progressive rock leanings.
Yeah, I remember they had this one video called "Sexy Boy" that aired a couple of times on that MTV show AMP, which when the electronic stuff was big at that time, like
Yeah,
Prodigy, MFX Twin, Future Sound of London, the Crystal Method, Orbital, the Orb, all those groups from the UK.
yeah. Next group you've heard of, I think,
Yeah.
the Alan Parsons Project.
Oh yeah, Mr. Alan Parsons himself, the engineer wizard, the man who engineered Dark Side of the Moon, worked on Wish You Were Here, worked on Abbey Road with the Beatles there. Apparently had us a hat in the engineering and some of the assistant engineering of the Sgt. Pepper album, and released his own albums with his partner Eric Wolfson, with
Yeah,
many
albeit
albums.
they had radio hits to speak of.
Absolutely.
They were progressive, no
Absolutely.
question.
Games people played. That was a big hit there around 1980. Time was
Time.
another one that was massively on the radio there. Eye in the Sky, Sirius slash Eye in the Sky there, and of course,
Yeah, and a lot of sports teams picked up that series as their here we are music.
absolutely, they've done that many times. In fact, GB Sports Radio, whatever he would start a couple of things there, when he would arrive, they would play that track.
Yeah, and he used to call that the Chicago Bulls theme, and it's like, no,
You know,
they picked it up and made it their theme, but it was not the Chicago Bulls theme.
I know.
Another team that played it, because I'm close to them, I'm where I can go to the games.
Yep.
Texas Rangers
Ah,
here in
that's right.
Arlington used to play it when they come out on the field for the first inning.
I bet it was. I bet it was massively played for every team entrance up until the final countdown came out. I'll bet you.
Pretty much played for a lot of them, yeah.
Absolutely, I can imagine that, man. Yeah, and of course we got to remember that almost of all the Alan Parsons albums out there were pretty much a concept albums.
Yeah.
Pyramid, Tales of Mystery Imagination, works by Edgar Allan Poe, I, Robot, Eve, and a couple other tracks there as well. Other albums I meant to say, except for the exception of a couple of tracks like an album like Stereotomy, which I had around 1985, which is a pretty good record there.
Yeah. Turn of a Friendly Card,
Yep.
which is where time and games people pay came from.
Yeah, if I understand
Snake
that.
Eyes.
Yep, and if I understand that album is about the gambling. If I
Right.
understand, yes.
Okay, the next one I got here, you probably heard of them too.
Yep.
Ambrosia.
Oh yeah. Now people may presume that this is that soft rock band who did songs like "Biggest Part of Me," "You're the Only Woman," and of course one of the all-time classics from them, "How Much I Feel," of one of my personal favorites as well. But they were actually a prog band before all that. They
Right,
then
their
always
first album is, well, actually very phenomenal. Every song on the track is really good, or on the album is really good. And then they followed that with Somewhere I Never Traveled, which was another great prog
yeah. Now
experiment.
keep in mind their very last studio album, Rhode Island. They decided to go back to their prog rock roots, but sadly, however, because that then when they did a shift in direction around that time. I mean, after having a couple of good radio hits, they decided to change a little bit of direction. The album didn't really sell that well. How Can You Love Me was a featured hit on MTV for a while there, but sadly, it didn't really mid top the charts there. So the group was basically no more.
Well, that and their main guy
David
lost
Pack.
his hearing.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, he lost that had that virus which took one half of his hearing, and this was happened prior to really writing and producing How Much I Feel, if I remember being heard.
Yeah. But back to that first album, if you hear Nice, Nice, Very Nice, which is based on somebody's poetry, I forget who,
Wow.
and Time Waits for No One, which is a very lyrically intense song,
Ah,
jumps around a lot, but it's a very good listen.
I
And of
see.
course, the hit off that album was How Much I Feel.
Yeah, Life Beyond L.A. You're talking about.
Oh no, the first album
Well, the first album. Well, because I
was
looked on, because
self-titled.
because I looked on Life Beyond L.A. on Wikipedia, and then How Much I Feel
That's about their
was included on that album.
that was about their fourth album.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not thinking. Holding On to Yesterday is the song I'm thinking of.
That's yeah. I kind of figured there. Yeah.
That was a pretty big hit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like I said, a lot of the songs on that first album are very proggy in nature.
Mm.
All you have to do is listen to Mama Frog, which is not related to someone we know. Um, and I won't go any further with that.
All right.
But basically, in the middle of that song, they start reciting Alice in Wonderland. The "'Twas Billy again, the slithy toe, did gyre and gimble," that bit.
I see.
It's kind of like, oh, okay. Lopped off his head, snicker snack, and all that stuff.
All right there.
It's kind of like I said, that's an interesting listen. Whole album's good.
All right. Cool.
Let's see. Next one I got here is Amon Duel 2.
I've heard of that band a couple of times there. They had this song called, I think it was called Raison de Terre, one of their songs.
Yeah, they formed out of the German late 1960s political art commune, Amon Duel.
Mm.
So they took their name from the political commune.
Mm.
And I have no idea what a political commune is.
Never heard of it myself. Now, Amon Duo 2. Does that mean it's like a second incarnation of the band there?
No, it actually is what they call themselves because the Amon Duel was that commune. So they were
So they put
number two from the commune.
so they put the two of the numeral 2 next to their name so people won't get confused with that.
Yeah.
I see there. Ah.
Next one I got is a group called, and I don't know anything about them, Analogy.
Analogy.
Sounds interesting.
Analogy. I don't think I've heard of them either. Are they based from Germany, England there?
I don't have any information here.
Let me go to my phone here and look it up here. Let me go to the give you a couple minutes here because okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me get this here. Okay, well, so what's the name of the band again?
Analogy.
Anal.
A-N-A.
Oh, wrong one. Wait a minute.
A-L-O-G-Y.
Okay, let me try this again. Analogy. Analogy. Band. Okay, Rockman. Oh, it's coming up right now. All right, here we go. They were a German and Italian psychedelic rock band active in the 1970s. They were launched by guitarist Martin Thurn while attending the European School Varese, Varese. In 1968, they formed a band called Sons of Club, and other members included Thomas Schmidt, Janta Ninhaus, and a couple other bands members as well there. Now, let me hear this. Now, here's the thing. They have released about 3 albums, I guess it was, Analogy, The Suite, and 25 Years Later. This,
Yeah, the German prog scene was apparently pretty big.
yeah, no, yeah, bands like Tangerine Dream, Klaus Schultz, a group called Can, which featured a guy named Holger Kruzai, who passed away in 2017. I only knew him from a project he did with David Sylvain from the band Japan called Plight and Premonition. Still one of my all-time favorite albums.
I think we killed YR and Keith.
Are they there, guys? Hmm. Hmm.
They probably
I'm
heard
here.
some.
All right.
Hey,
Yes,
yeah, I was gonna say you
we're
Uh,
here.
probably heard some of these
Yes,
names and you go,
we're
"What
listening.
the
all
heck?"
right. Oh,
Let's,
feel free to chime in, guys, with any questions you like, about these groups that we're speaking of.
Uh,
these are all
uh,
bands we haven't heard of so far.
Ah,
Besides
that's
the Alan Parsons Project, I heard of them.
Well,
yeah,
some of them I haven't even heard of, and I dig pretty heavily into Prog.
yeah.
I never heard of any of these.
Um, this is why you have people like us, Keith,
Yep.
to
Yeah.
remind
See,
you.
I'm
All
even learning if it makes you feel better.
Well, I'm learning of some of these other bands right now.
right.
Yep.
Next one I got is a band by the name of Anathema.
Anathema. And let's see. Anathema. What do they? I know it's Prague, but Anathema. Let me look that
Well,
up
these will
again.
all be Prog of some sort.
Anathema band. Damn. Right there. Let's see here. They got a female. I guess she's a front. She's They got this female singer. I guess it was. Now they were a band from Liverpool, England, home of the Beatles. They was formed in 1990 by Vincent and Daniel Caravan, bassist Jamie Caravan, I guess it's her sister, drummer keyboardist John Douglas, and vocalist Darren White. And their singer is Lee Douglas. And I guess kind of they're progressive, progressive pop, progressive alternative rock, goth metal, death and gloom stuff there in their earlier years there. They worked for labels like K-Scope, Peaceville, and one I remember hearing back in the 80s out of the UK called Music for Nations.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things as I go through this list, there's bands that I'm going, I got to look some of their stuff up. They sound interesting.
Mm. And here's something
Next one.
else. Here's
Go
something
ahead.
else. They appeared it on stage with Stephen Hawking at the Starmus Festival 3. I guess it may have
Wow.
been in doesn't say what year it was, but they released its 11 studio albums, which included the song of the name. It was named the Anthem of the Year of the third annual Progressive Music Awards. 3 years later, an album they put out called The Optimist was named Album of the Year by the same awards show.
Definitely sounds somebody I should look into.
Yeah, definitely.
Next one's got an interesting name. And So I Watch You From Afar.
Okay. Sounds like one of those current bands out there. Like Bring Me the Horizon, Pierce the Veil, if I'm
Yeah.
correct, yeah. Or Bullet for My Valentine.
Yeah, some of these group names you look at and go, wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
It's kind of reminiscent of some of the group names from the 60s and 70s.
yeah, because I remember you could point out a lot of bands with a lot of awkward names out there.
Oh, yeah.
I guess the thing was around is go for the most obnoxious or strangest name you could think of because that will attract attention to the band.
Yeah, I mean, who can look beyond Iron Butterfly for crying out loud?
I know, yeah. If a band called Iron Butterfly were to come out these days, people think, huh? Because they're so used to Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
But then again, that was the thing back in the 1960s when that stuff was coming out there. That was the thing.
And we all know that the Iron Maiden was a torture thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
hmm
Next one, I got another interesting name here,
Yeah.
but I have heard of them. Animals as Leaders.
There you go. So I
They're
guess,
they're a virtuoso progressive metal band from Washington of the United States.
oh yeah, I see. Washington D.C. or the state of Washington.
Washington, the state.
Oh, okay, good. So they're not. I don't believe they're related to the whole Seattle movement there, right?
No,
Good.
no, they're not grunge.
All right, there because when they think of the state of Washington, they think of Seattle and all the alternative grunge stuff that came out of that particular area there.
And now we will follow that with another interesting name, which kind of, I think, reflects their music. And you will know us by the Trail of Dead.
I remember hearing that name many times in the past, and that was a unique name for a band when you think about it there.
Oh, yeah. A lot of prog bands, especially the later ones, like to get really far out names to try and get people's attention.
Wow, that's
Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't.
yeah. Sometimes it worked for a while, but then it faded out there, I guess.
Yeah, because a lot of times people will go, "Oh, that's an interesting name," when we hear them, and they'll be like, "I don't like this," and they'll quit listening to them.
Yeah, it's true.
Next one I got in line here is John Anderson. I wonder who that is.
Oh, we know who he is. He's a
Yeah,
front man. He's a front man for the band. Yes. He released,
sometimes.
yeah, he goes, yeah, because right now there's about two Yeses running amok on the road right now, and one of them features John Yes, the other features another singer there. And Anderson did release a couple of solo albums, one of them from 1982, and so another one in the 1970s there. And he also
I
sang,
remember Elias of Sunwillow.
hmm and of course, he also sang the lead vocals on a track called Prince Rupert Awakes from the King Crimson album Lizard.
Right. And next one I got kind of tags that name because it's Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, Howe, which was
Members of
a lot of
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, one of the key members of the band Yes.
Right.
Will Bruford, of course, one of the original drummers for Yes, later leaving to go on to King Crimson up until the very end there, and rejoining King Crimson when he reformed in 1981 there, up until, and they rejoined it again in 1994 when they had the double trio.
Yeah. Next one I got is ANGE, Ange, I guess.
Mm.
It's a French symphonic prog band,
Mm. Kind of like,
active mainly from the early 1970s through the mid 1980s. Their later work displays a simpler pop orientation. Shame.
oh, wow. So basically, it's like kind of like the same as the symphonic metal that Nightwish and Within Temptation would be doing the years later on.
Yeah.
Ah, good.
Next one I got is Aphrodite's Child. I've heard
Mm.
of them. They're a Greek trio.
Okay. And they're from Greece.
Uh, that you would imply that they're a Greek trio, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And then I've got Aquarium, which is a band that formed in the Soviet Union in the 1970s.
Mm. See, a lot of this stuff was getting out to everywhere around the world, including Russia. But keep in mind, I don't think we ever saw. Don't know if we ever saw this particular group play outside of the Iron Curtain, which was still
Yeah,
active around that time.
yeah. It's Prague was more universal. There were some U.S. groups, but by and large, there weren't many of them compared to the rest of the world.
That's true. There, yeah.
Then you got Arcadia.
Oh
They were
yeah.
American prog synth band.
Wait a minute. The Arcadia? You mean the members of Duran Duran?
Well, it has Brandaler on drums and vocals.
Mm. Well,
This is
because
Arcadia, Arcadea.
okay, because when you heard the name, when you mentioned the name, I thought it was the one of the two Duran Duran spin-off groups from 1985. I was going to say, wow, that's interesting there, because I always considered that album kind of had a few bit of prog in their music there on that one particular album there. When you think about it,
Yeah,
Roseanne Carter, the song Goodbye is Forever, and the closing track Lady Ice.
Yeah. Next one I got is Area, which
Hmm.
is a politically oriented 70s multinational band from Italy.
Oh, wow.
Ironic.
Oh,
They're
cool.
multinational, but they're from Italy.
Oh, yeah. Probably because they play all around the places of the world there.
Right. But apparently they're politically oriented.
So they have a lot of political stuff in their lyrics there, in their
Yeah.
actions.
Yeah. Then I've got Arena, which I have heard of, but I don't remember what they are or what they do.
Areno,
Arena.
arena, and we're spelled and we're talking sports arena, right?
Right.
Okay,
Arena.
okay. Let me look it up for you guys there. Arena rock band. Okay, there. Give it a couple of minutes there. Let me look it up. All right, rock band called Arena. They are a English neo-progressive rock band formed in 1995. Their style ranges to symphonic to hard rock, and their
Yeah, I
styles.
remember hearing
Yeah.
of them.
Yep. All right there, and there's not much with the history. Let me look up the history there. It was formed in 1995 by one of the keyboardists from Pendragon at Shadowland, and the original drummer of the band Marillion. The other founding members of the band, were John Carson, Cliff Orsi, and Keith Moore, John Jowett, and they also had other lineup changes just as well there. And they were considered one of the dominant neo-prog groups of the 1980s, according to AllMusic magazine.
Next group I know was around in the 70s. Something called Ars Nova.
Ars Nova. Ars Nova. Okay, that sound like Alba Nova for a second there, but I'm looking it up
Yeah,
there.
it's ARS
Yep,
Nova.
got it right up now. They were a progressive rock band that performed and recorded from 67 to 69. They had included two former students of Mainz College in New York City, and they recorded only just two albums. That was it.
Yeah, I remember them because I actually had both those albums.
Hmm. And they were recorded for the Elektra label, which the person comprised of this person, that person. I want to get into the members there. They were signed to the label by Paul Rothchild, who, of course, signed both the Doors and the Stooges, featuring Michigan's old Iggy Pop there. The
Right.
band split up after performing supporting the Doors at the Fillmore East in 1968. Around the same time, they were promoted with a profile in Life magazine.
Yeah, they had the potential and they just
Blah.
didn't work out.
I don't know why. Maybe it all depends on the chemistry and the issues within the band members as well. There,
Yeah.
all right.
Then we got Art Bears, which just sounds interesting.
Art bears, as in typical artwork and the word bears, right?
Right.
Oh wow, that's something that there. It almost sounds like a cartoon when you think about it. There,
Yeah.
the new it's a spin off of the Care Bears.
Uh,
But instead of these kind of bears, you'll go to art museums and discuss works from Picasso and Da Vinci.
and then chew them up because they're bears.
And probably something they'll show on the PBS stations there, the National Public Television, for those learning shows for the children out there, most likely.
And then I got Art in America.
Oh man, Michigan based, correct?
I don't have any info here, but I think so.
Yeah, because I remember they had their release of their first record on the CBS around in the early '80s. There, I remember the song "Art America" being played on MTV a lot. and on radio. In fact, one of the members used to play a harp.
Yeah, that's the other thing about prog bands is they incorporate unusual instruments.
Precisely. Like Jethro Tull had Ian Anderson playing the flute. King Crimson had a violin player named David Cross. I guess Frank Zappa, who was considered prog when you think about it, there with his first band, The Mother's Invention. His music
Yeah,
and his one of his band members was a xylophone player, and that was used a lot in his music there.
yeah.
Okay, I'm looking up Art in
Oh,
American. Yeah, go ahead.
you want to hear how I heard of Frank Zappa?
Yeah, how would that happen?
Uh, like 5 years ago, my friend's dad told me about Frank Zappa. He said you could look him up on YouTube. He said I would like him,
Oh
and
wow,
I did.
Yeah, he went all over the spectrum of music. He did a lot of different things.
he did a
Yep.
lot of things. He worked with classical composers as well.
He was a phenomenal guitar player.
Absolutely,
He
there.
even rapped. He
Yeah,
rapped.
yeah, he rapped it on the songs like Dynamo Hum and Dancing Fool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I'm looking up Art in America right now, and I was correct. Detroit, Michigan. And they were progressive rock pop, and they formed in 1980, and I guess are still together to this day. They were worked
wow.
with they worked with CBS back then and Pavilion Records.
Well, what years was Frank Zappa popular?
Oh gosh, he started in the 60s and he was pretty much popular up until his death.
Yeah. He
When
was
was
most. I mean, he was but commercially pop. It all depends. Montana from the early '70s was kind of like a big hit there. His song Valley Girl, however, kind of tripled that because that was all over lots of times on the radio. In fact, that was when we first heard of his daughter, Moon Unit Zappa.
yeah?
In fact, a year later, there was a movie called Valley Girl. That's when I first heard about Nicolas Cage. And the movie had nothing to do with the song in general.
Oh wow.
And Zappa didn't want no affiliation with the movie, period.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he, like I said, he's a good study. You can go all the way back to I don't remember exactly when. I think it's 67, 68. Uh, he was the leader of the Mothers of Invention,
Yep.
and they had at least two albums that I remember
Freak
from
Out.
that time. And We're Only in It for the Money,
Yep.
which was basically a sort of a parody of Sergeant Pepper.
And the Rolling Stones album cover, Her Satanic Majesty's Request.
Yeah, because that album cover was, you could see both those albums in that cover for the
Absolutely
most
there.
part.
Absolutely there. Hey,
But
keep
boy,
in
you
mind.
want to talk about psychedelic, Freak Out will do it.
Oh, we cannot forget Absolutely Free. That came out just as well. And
Right.
let's not forget his composition, Lumpy Gravy.
You could cover Zappa by himself on the show because he had at least, I want to say 40 albums, but I think it was more than that actually.
Right? And here's something else you know the worthy. He would pay the record label to release his albums. That way, the record company would get the money for the album up hand. And I guess he got involved with some investments or stock market to fund both his recordings, his record label, to which he had many of them at that time, from Bizarre, Straight, Discreet, Barking Pumpkin, Zappa Records at one point there.
And it's funny because he would release straight songs and then he would release parody songs
Yeah, a
of
lot of.
sorts.
Yeah, he would poke fun at a lot of things, whether it's politics, religion, pop culture, a couple times at himself.
Yeah, there's Disco Boy, which obviously makes fun of disco music.
Yeah, Dancing Fool, about a guy who cannot
Same
dance but
thing.
can't. Yep, absolutely there. You know, Montana being about a little farm boy riding a little pygmy pony, just to raise a crop of dental floss.
Yeah.
Wow.
And There was I'm the Slime,
which is
which
about
basic.
which basically is an attack on television.
Oh, definitely.
Hmm.
I'm the slime oozing out of your TV set. Yeah, that line alone tells you that.
Yeah, absolutely there. And there was a performance on Saturday Night Live where people were looking up at the TV monitors and there was all this slime coming out from beneath it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is before Nickelodeon made that green slime that they're calling card on some of their shows. Like, you can't do that on television.
Wow.
And
Wait,
also
so
the first Ghostbusters as well.
yeah. Did Frank Zappa sue Nickelodeon?
No,
Nah,
no.
Okay.
Zappa didn't really get into stuff like that.
Uh,
Uh,
In fact, he also
Yo,
beat.
Keith, remember that? Remember? Oh, maybe Dr. Brown, you might remember on Nickelodeon with the slime. Remember that show, Figure It Out?
Oh yeah, I think I remember hearing about
It's
that
like
a
a
few
game
times.
show, and the
I think
contestants were like part of Nickelodeon shows. Like, remember that show, All That, and
yes, I
other
remember.
ones?
Yeah,
And so
absolutely,
they, they used to get the green slime on them as well.
absolutely.
that was figured out.
And also keep in mind that let me see, I forgot what I was gonna say. Son of
Yeah,
a
what did
bitch.
I say, Keith?
When was figured out?
Like in the
80s,
late 90s.
90s.
Oh, was it in the 80s too?
Yeah, I think it's so because a lot
I
of
have
that.
no idea.
I don't know either, man. I never really watched Nickelodeon myself. The only time I really watched Nickelodeon was during the when they had Ren and Stimpy on Saturday nights, and me and my dad
Oh
would
yeah.
watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he also did Dirty Love,
Oh yeah,
which
and
was
this
interesting.
absolutely, great album, the Overnight Sensation album. If you
Right.
find it, pick it up.
You hear Stinkfoot.
About one smelly ass feet.
And which album was Watch Out Where You Go,
Oh
Watch Out Where the
yeah,
Huskies Go, Don't You Eat the Yellow Snow?
oh yeah, Apostrophe. That was one of his works
Yeah,
there.
that's a great little
Saint
song.
Saint Alfonso's Pancake Breakfast was another
Yeah,
one
you got
from
to
that
play the
record.
two of them together.
Yeah, it's like it tells a little mini story when you look at it there.
Yeah, but I always like Watch Out Where the Huskies Go, Don't You Eat That Yellow Snow.
Yeah, guy had a little bit of sense of humor when you look at it there. It's also, you cannot forget Trouble Every Day, which was about the '67 riot in Watts, California there.
Yeah. Anyway, back to where we were.
Yes.
Next one I got's Atomic Rooster. Gee, we've heard of them, haven't
Yes,
we?
we have. Yes, I believe you just mentioned Carl Palmer from ELP played with them prior to joining ELP.
Correct.
Yes, and also Carl Palmer was involved with another prog band, the more sinister prog group, The Crazy World of Arthur Brown.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I've got Kevin Ayers, he was a founding member of Soft Machine.
I've heard the Soft Machine name many times back in the early 80s was from the publication I used to read a lot, Cream Magazine. I don't know if you remember that magazine during its height.
Yeah,
Oh, man, I love that magazine, man.
yeah. Soft Machine is pretty good, actually.
Mm.
A lot of albums. A lot of albums.
Wow.
Next one I got is a good one that I just recently kind of got into. Is Ayreon, Ayreon.
Mm.
They're a Dutch progressive band,
Ah.
metal project from the mid 1990s onward.
Oh,
They're
wow.
basically a project.
Oh, wow. So it's like a side project, nevertheless.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's one of those things, kind of like Alan Parsons, where they do different things.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot of their stuff recently, and it's pretty good. Uh, Floor Jansen guested on a couple of videos of that
Oh, yeah.
group.
Yeah, Flora Jansen being the current front woman for Nightwish.
Which I don't know if you two guys have ever heard them, but
I have.
if you want to hear one of the most phenomenal voices you will ever hear, you need to check out Nightwish. and
Absolutely.
listen to Flora Jansen,
And
especially Flora Jansen. And she's
and
the third singer that group had.
yeah, so the first one was Tarnia Turin, and the second one was Annette Hosen.
Yeah. And the one song I'd start with, if I was going to check out Nightwish for the first time, would be Ghost Love Score
Mm,
from the Live at Walk-In Festival in 2013.
wow.
And as you listen to it, keep in mind that is a live performance.
Mm,
And when you hear it, it is flawless. The vocals on it are absolutely will blow your mind. It's incredible.
yeah. Remember, there a lot of these groups out there had female singers who were phenomenal just as well. The singer from Within Temptation, another symphonic prog band, she was considered a favorite of my ex-girlfriend, and a couple others there.
Yeah. And it's funny because the three singers for Nightwish were different in different ways, but yet they all three fit in their own way.
Yeah. And the first two out there, kind of like, they were, I guess you could say they were ousted from the group there. The story behind Tarna's ousting was through a letter. Apparently, what happened, according to the band members, she kind of like developed somewhat of an attitude when she got married there. And the guys were like, it's about the music, it's about we never let no business or any issues come between us, and you were starting to do that. So instead of having a talk with her and working things out, they decided to fire her through a letter that they gave her to read the next day.
Yeah, and I think Annette was also a marriage related thing.
Yes, it was, yeah.
She was only with the band like 2 years.
Oh. But they did
But
some phenomenal music together.
yeah, funny thing though was though she didn't have the range at all that the other two had,
Yeah,
but yet she sounded fine.
yeah, she does. She was
But
like a
if she didn't have to be compared to Tarja or Floor,
Tarnia, or Flora Jensen. I know, I'm getting mixed up on all the three there.
well, I think it's actually Tarja, but I could be wrong.
Or Tarnia.
At any rate,
The J is silent, by the way, there. I found out that the hard way there. Because my girlfriend, we found out how it was really pronounced, and then, like, oh, yeah, it's Tarnia.
well, I'm not Dutch, so
And
hey,
near my dude, so I'm,
Finnish.
yep.
But Tarja was kind of an operatic leaning,
Hmm.
but she didn't have any real power in her vocals. Annette was a good singer, but she was more your average type singer.
Yes.
She didn't really have a lot of range. She was just average,
Yeah.
but she's good.
And I think the only.
Floor, on the other hand,
Yeah.
is not only classically and opera trained, but she is an incredibly powerful vocal.
Yes, yes.
But if you want to get an indoctrination into Nightwish, I would tell you to go find that particular song and start there.
And also look up another song they did with Annette Hosen called Bye Bye Beautiful. It's kind of a more, kind of towards the regular rock scene, but it's a pretty good song there.
Yeah, and they do a pretty good Phantom of the Opera with Tarnia.
Yes, absolutely. With the Marco, their bass player there. He's
Right.
also sings a couple occasions there, a couple times there, and a couple lines here and on a few songs.
Yeah, we kind of degenerated into a Nightwish discussion
We
and
did,
a
yeah.
Frank Zappa
And
discussion.
which is good. So the
Yeah,
people of today know who the hell these people are, and they can look them up on the internet or on YouTube.
yeah, and actually, Nightwish is still around. So,
Yes. Still doing shows, thank goodness.
excuse me, it was kind of sudden. Do we want to head on into the bees
Yes, we do.
or not?
Yes.
Oh, okay. First one I got is Babylon.
Mm. Babylon.
I'm not familiar with that group.
Babylon. The only Okay, there. That sounds interesting there because we hear the name Babylon many times. There was a song called "Babylon Rocks" by metal trio called Vendetta. I remember seeing on MTV.
Right.
Yep.
Next one, I got Barclay James Harvest, who I know, and they've got a lot of albums,
Mm.
but I can't give you any details on them.
Oh wow.
But
Mm.
they've been around a while,
I remember hearing that name a few times. Yes, definitely.
and they had a ton of albums.
Oh wow. I didn't realize it was a group because of the name sounded like it was one individual.
No, it's a group.
Okay, there. All right.
Then I got Bebop Deluxe, which we've heard of, British
Yes.
band.
Yes, we have. Yes, they were signed to Harvest Records, where the Tom Robinson band recorded, and of course Pink Floyd recorded as well.
Right. Then I got Beggar's Opera, which is a Scottish band in the early 70s.
Ah, because I remember there was a Beggar's Opera, a local group out of Detroit called Beggar's Opera, which was an all-female trio there that I knew briefly. And when you first heard mention that name, I was like, oh wow. I thought it was them by chance, but then you gave me the description. It was a totally different group.
Yeah. Next one I got is Birth Control, which is a
Oh,
German band.
that's a new one. That's one obsolete name, obscure name right there, folks.
A German band from the early 1970s.
Oh wow. Oh man. And the way we know where they got the name from, obsolete.
Then I got Bozio Levin Stevens.
Mm.
All right, so I'm sorry, guys. We're gonna have to go here, but
Oh, okay.
Keith, can you send what you sent me to Dr. Brown, please?
Okay.
Yes.
Please.
Okay.
What? Why?
Either like they were in this group chat, basically. Send what you just sent me in this group chat, and Dr. Brown, you're gonna have to give Keith another talking to.
About what do you do now?
You'll see. You're gonna. I'm kind of pissed, Keith.
Okay, send it in the chat. Let me see what we got here.
Like, I'm kind of pissed at you.
I sent it to your personal Skype, Dr. O, but now it's like spinning. It says it's not sent yet.
Here, I'll send what you sent.
Okay, then
Okay.
put it in the chat here, dude.
Oh, all
They
right.
may not want
I'm
it
kind
there.
of sick of this shit, Keith. And I know you're grown and stuff, but this is the second time in less than a month that you went to the fucking hospital.
Oh, don't tell me it's what I think it is it? Okay, and let me see. It should be popping up right now here. Got it on Keith's page here. Let's see there. It says here it's a message, right?
Yeah.
It says
Yep.
here. Okay, I'm gonna. Want me to read this YR or keep it secret? For
Yeah,
now?
I sent it in the group chat as well, what he sent me.
Okay. All right, there. Let me look it up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I got it right now. It's going to be coming up here pretty soon there. Okay, here's what we got here. What Keith has sent. At the art show, I went straight to the hospital late Saturday night. The staff called 911 on me. On Sunday night, I was like dead. I really needed a good night's sleep on.
Oh, why you didn't send the first part?
Oh, well, just tell him. Close your door.
Okay, yeah, what happened, Keith? What'd you do this time, kid?
All right, I took a whole
What?
bag of
Edibles?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I read what it said here. I took a whole big bag of edibles on Saturday night. It fucked me up big time. I don't like edibles anymore. They were selling them next to me. And which edibles are you talking about?
Well, see, like they were like nerds. They were like Rice Krispie treats with nerds on them.
The
And
candy nerds.
Yeah, they're THC. It was like nerd Rice Krispie treats, THC.
So, like, the staff, since they called the 911 hospital on you, this is the second time in a month. Are they going to kick you out of your facility?
No,
Yeah.
Nope.
But
Keith,
they're
you
gonna,
keep
but
fucking like they're eventually gonna do that, bro. Why?
they're
Why?
gonna come down hard on you, dude.
Is Tony rubbing off on you like that? Like, oh, Tony's stoned all the time. I want to get stoned type shit.
No. No, I thought it was gonna be more mild than triple C's. It was a way like triple C's are more mild than this.
Keith, you're an idiot. Lay up those triple C's, dude. Lay up all that shit, man.
All right.
No, no, you know,
Please.
you got to keep your word this time because you said that too many times before and you fall back into that rut.
He relapsed. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna have a. Do they have any counselors up at where he lives?
Yeah, you're on fucking. He's taking narcotics anonymous, and you fucking 2 weeks in an NA, and he fucking took the damn edible
Oh
last.
my gosh, dude.
Keith,
Oh my gosh, Keith, you need some help, bro.
if they drug test you, if they piss test you at the NA meeting, you'll be fucked. You know that,
Yeah,
right?
they're gonna come down hard on you. You thought you was in lockdown before open the last time. Look what they'll do this time. The more and more you hold this shit, they're gonna come down hard on you even more. Next thing you know, you're not gonna even be allowed to leave the room.
Well,
Keith, please, man,
okay.
drink like some type of energy drink or something. You know?
Or drink some water or something like that.
Okay.
Back to the music. I'm sorry, guys, but we
It's
gotta.
okay there,
Yeah,
because it had to be addressed.
yeah, I still feel bad right now. Like physically, I'm still in a fog. Right, my head's still in a fog right now.
Well, can I ask why you keep doing this stuff, man?
I thought edibles were like it said CBD. Like it said they're selling CBD, so I thought it's like CBD, and I thought it was gonna be like mild.
No. No. Anything that
Guess
tells you
not.
it's no. Obviously, you found out the hard way.
Yeah,
Okay,
You do whatever you want, but we when you're in the situation you're in, like you can't be. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're in your own apartment, your own home, where you can. There's rules to follow.
absolutely.
And
You got to
if you're
remember,
breaking those rules, they're gonna kick your ass out, and you're gonna end up a place you don't want to be. And I don't know where that
absolutely,
place
man.
is.
Yeah, you don't want to be in that spot, man.
yeah.
You're living on the
All right.
streets, of Broward County. Come on, bro.
Yeah, you don't want that, dude.
Yeah.
That's a place where all those rappers we talked about grew up and shit. It's a horrible part of Florida, man.
Yep. All right.
Yeah. And if you get on acting like a weird, acting weird like you do at times, they're gonna knock the hell out of you.
Yeah. No, what happened was I had to throw up, and like I couldn't make it to the toilet, so I threw up all over the bathroom floor
Oh my
because I
god.
couldn't hold it in long enough to go to throw up in the toilet.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
And
Did you
dude.
throw up in
so,
the Did you throw up in the sink?
no, I threw up in the front of the bathroom, like when you open the door.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And then I got some in the toilet, but most of it was on the floor.
Oh my gosh. My heart goes out to whoever had to clean that up.
And then I was gonna clean it up. She said, "No, put the mop down."
Oh my gosh. You don't know what kind of germs or cooties you could get from that there. So let the professionals take care of it.
Okay.
Keith, you need to let that you need to stop doing that shit to yourself, dude. You gotta stop, bro. Okay, dude?
Okay.
Don't say okay until you mean it. Okay, no ax. Okay, Ark, with your list there, go ahead, dude.
Next one I got is Brand X.
Ah,
That's a
remember?
70s band, yeah, influenced by jazz and funk, and is frequently associated with Phil Collins.
That's really because he performed with that group and recorded with them a few times there in the past.
Yeah, they've been around a pretty good while.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Okay, next one we mentioned a while ago, Arthur Brown.
that's right.
The Crazy World of Arthur Brown.
That's right there. The guy who,
60s, and yet he was considered prog.
yeah, sometimes a more scary prog, where they would look at the makeup and the kind of lyrical content on that first album he put out.
Yeah, and of course, whenever he performed Fire,
That's,
he wore the fire hat.
yeah, so a fire helmet, I guess we could call there. And he's still performing to this day, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess he took time
and
off to.
actually,
No, go ahead.
he was the vocalist on the Alan Parsons Tales of Mystery and Imagination for the Telltale Heart.
Oh yeah, I gotta hear that one definitely for sure. There.
Next one I got is Jack Bruce. We've heard of him.
Yeah, that's right. The former Cream bassist and vocalist there, who sadly passed away in the 2000s there, a couple years back there.
Right.
He released a couple albums of his own there, including an album called I Always Wanted to Do This from 1979. It was labeled Jack Bruce and Friends.
Yep. My favorite, solo
Right?
album by him was one called Songs for a Tailor.
Mm.
That had some great tracks on it. Actually, the album's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Then another group that by their name you kind of figure out who they're associated with, Bruford,
Mm.
a jazz and Canterbury styled supergroup with Bill Bruford, Alan Holdsworth, David Stewart, and Jeff Berlin.
Ah.
Next group, next person I haven't heard of, but I like this name, Buckethead.
Oh my goodness. I've been hearing about this guy a lot of times. The first time I heard of him was when he was part of Axl Rose's Guns N' Roses lineup for a couple of years there. I thought at first he was going to try to might be the new Slash with the bucket on the head compared to Slash's top hat there. But turns out Buckethead is a totally different character. This man is recorded with Bill Laswell, who is a well-respected dub, ambient, bass player out of New York City who's released tons and tons of projects.
Yeah,
Praxis, Material, Divination, Sacred System there, you name it.
yeah. And the next artist, and we'll make it the last artist today, Kate Bush.
Oh, yeah, we heard about it. A friend of mine named Scott P. Sandals out of Novi, Michigan was a big fan of hers. And he wrote a dedication song called Tree Prevision, which was an ode to her, I guess you could say there. He was
Yeah,
big on her there.
yeah, and apparently David Gilmour discovered her.
Absolutely, yeah. She recorded for the Harvest record label, I guess,
Right.
which of course Pink Floyd, as I mentioned, recorded for throughout the 70s up until their Dark Side of the Moon came out.
Yeah, and we'll pick up on Thursday. Had to
Absolutely.
think about what today was.
Yeah, today's Monday. Afterwards, we'll
Yeah,
my 2 days of work, and then Thursday I have off, and we'll resume our list, definitely, for sure.
and we'll start in the C's.
All right, good, yes. All right. And there's a couple of bands with, I think one band I was hoping to hear about as well. The band Can, as I think I mentioned them earlier.
Let's see. They're in my list.
Good, yes. Because as I mentioned, one of their members, the departed Holger Kruse, recorded that album with David Sylvain that I mentioned earlier about, which is, by the way, a worth a listen.
Right.
All right, there.
And I just glanced through the C's, and we're going to cover some good stuff.
All right, that's good to hear, man. All right, so I guess that'll be it for the time being there. I guess what you going to be doing while later on, I guess.
I think they've already left, haven't they?
There'll
Uh,
be NHF is tonight in about 35 minutes or so.
all right,
38
there.
minutes,
No
37.
Hard Feelings on the Farmhouse Network. Ken, Nikki Nines, I guess. Is Mars Mira still involved in that show there?
I think he will be there making his
Good.
presence there tonight. Yes.
Good. Yes, definitely go to Farmhouse Network in a half hour or more, and to check that program out. And shout out to Farmhouse Kansas as well, Nikki Nines and Mars Mira. So shout out to those three cats over there. And once again, this coming Thursday, Arknolia the Doctor will be back, same bat time, same bat station. On our list of prog rock's greatest and well-known and lesser-known bands continues on. Okay? And for Arknolia and myself, for YR and Keith or Barber, you guys have a good one, and we will